tightening. Feel warm. Emotionally, I feel nervous, fear, excitement, joy, and I'm here and I'm in. So my name is Redmond. I am a mindfulness teacher and life coach, and what I just did, that check-in, is something that I do with everyone that I work with as a way to cut through the information overload and just for a moment connect with what's real. And so it's something I want to start by sharing with you all. It's super simple, but it can actually be really challenging to move from our heads and connect with what's actually happening in our bodies. So let's take a moment to make this a little easier. Place one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly. Doesn't matter which hand's on top. The first thing that we're going to connect with are physical sensations that are happening in your body. So right now, the feeling of your hands on your body, that's a physical sensation. So notice what that feels like. And then I'd like you to close your eyes. Just take a slow breath in through the nose and a slower breath out through the mouth. Start to relax into your body and begin to notice what other physical sensations you can feel happening. So notice maybe you feel the clothes on your skin. Maybe you feel what temperature, maybe you're hot or cold. Maybe you can sense your breath moving in and out through your mouth. And what other physical sensations do you feel? Maybe you worked out, you feel soreness, tightness, tension. This is just for you. You don't have to say it out loud. Just for you, just checking in, just saying it silently, noticing what you notice. And then going to something that's a little bit more challenging and seeing if you can connect with what emotions are present. And so the 5 core emotions are fear, anger, sadness, joy, and shame. And so maybe there's one of those that you connect with, or maybe there's something else that's an offshoot. And this could be a little bit more challenging. So if you're having a tough time with this, that's okay. See if you can slow down and see what emotion or emotions are present right now. And then when you're done, I'd like everyone to say, I'm here and I'm in. All right. So now that you've checked in with yourself, you have taken the first step on the path to connecting with who you really are. Not who you think you need to be, but who you are at your core. Your authentic self. Maybe you've heard that term before. Be authentic. We'll talk more later about what it means, but for now, what I want to talk about is what it can do for you. When you're connected to your heart and your gut and your emotions, you can start to connect with what is it that your authentic self wants. Because maybe you're at a point in your life where you're asking these questions. What do I want? What do I want to do? Who do I want to be? If I could tell you the thing that's going to make you the most happy in life, raise your hand if you want to know what that is. Only a few? Yeah. So I'm 33 years old, and what I'm about to tell you is something that I wish someone told me when I was 15. And that is, you can't know what you want if you don't know what you feel. And you can't know what you feel if you don't slow down. I'm going to say that again. You can't know what you want if you don't know what you feel. And you can't know what you feel if you don't slow down. All right, let's see. We're going to split this side of the room and this side of the room. So from here over, you're going to repeat the first part after me, and from here over, you're going to repeat the second part after me. Can we handle that? Ready? You can't know what you want if you don't know what you feel. And you can't know what you feel if you don't slow down. School failed me in that it didn't teach me how to slow down and connect with myself. And school is failing you if you don't learn how to connect with yourself. And I don't mean academically. I mean socially, emotionally, mentally. In high school, our days are pretty well mapped out for us. But here's the secret. At some point, there's gonna be no one telling you what to do. That sounds pretty cool, right? It can be, but most schools don't teach how to make decisions. And most young adults leave high school without having an understanding of who they are or what they really want. We learn the subjects that we're taught, we learn how to hit deadlines, but those things can sometimes work against us when we're trying to figure out what's my authentic voice. And this is not a knock on schools, it's just not in their mission to teach this stuff. So it's on you. And why I'm here today is I'm gonna help you learn how you can build that connection to your authentic self. How to know about when you've lost it, and how to go about refinding it. In that process, I'm gonna give you some techniques and tools that you can use to build that relationship, as well as my story of being an anxious teenager, to losing my connection and refinding my connection to my authentic self. But first, a poem about greatness. A mix of questions I never asked, answers I couldn't grasp. The time was wrong, my beat was off, my rhythm was uptight all my life. I saw the light, but I never thought I could be more than me. I was in a shadow, but now I see. My past actions were stuck on living at the mercy of what they had planned for I. For I was a sheep, led by a shepherd of fear. Fear of they, fear of them. Fear that who I am wouldn't live in. I wouldn't fit in. I wasn't the type. Where to begin? I had big dreams, but watched them flee into what you call the reality of mediocrity. I'll tell you this once, if I told you this twice, there's a power inside, it will more than suffice. When you have it, you know. When you feel it, you grow. Grow into that version that you always could be. I speak to the 7-year-old who wouldn't do what they're told, outside in the grass, born to be bold, playing in the moment with dreams of winning the gold. But as we get old, we're trained to fit in. Hey, sit in your chair, follow the rules, do well at school. Programmed to be a tool. When you look in the mirror, you can't see the fool. Now years have gone by as you question why. Why do I feel this emptiness inside? Who was I, the one who could never lose, who would never choose to be just another dude? Now as the fog rises up, I see my path. I knew my greatness, but lost its way. from years of screens. My mind decayed. A separation of them and me, lost at sea. No one there to inspire me to be more than I ever could, more than they thought I would. Greatness reserved for only the few. I never heard the whispers until it was you. Now I surround my life with inspiration and light. They tell me I can, I'm more than a man, because I am. I am finally free, no longer racing to the middle. I can finally lead. I am the change. I am the way. I'm blessed to have this breath today. Now take a second. Turn your ear. I'm not done. Thank you though. Take a second. Turn your ear. Greatness calls to those who hear. When the voice inside that tells you go beats the voices out there that tells you no. Life will yield a different result. You'll no longer play the hand you were dealt. Instead, you'll take your greatness, make it known, show the world who you are. Pick up the phone. Greatness calls in many ways, which is why I'm shouting at you today. If you only knew how great you are, you'll see your dreams aren't so far. But listen up and listen close, because your greatness, it likes to whisper most. When I was 7 years old, I used to play pretend in my backyard. And I'd imagine that I was a baseball player playing at home for the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. And I would picture the most epic scene. Game 7 of the World Series, 9th inning, bases loaded, full count, 2 outs, we're down by 3, I'm at bat. I either get on base or we lose. And I sit there in my backyard waiting for the imaginary pitcher to throw the ball, and he'd throw it, and I'd swing, going, grand slam, home run, the Yankees win, I start running around my backyard, this little boy yelling to no one, losing myself in this feeling of this aliveness, of this greatness that was exploding inside of me. And I knew that I wanted to feel that feeling again. Now, before I go any further, I want to make something really clear. Greatness is not just about hitting the game-winning home run in the World Series, or performing at Coachella, or being the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Your greatness is the feeling you get when you are connected to your authentic self. It is very simply the feeling of aliveness. And what makes that feeling come on for you is different from what makes it come on for you, and it's different for every single person in this room. Greatness is not about fame. Greatness is recognizing the unique thing that makes you come alive and learning to follow that, to listen to that. And when we're younger, when we're 5, 10, 6, 7 years old, our greatness, it's less of a whisper. And it shouts at us. It shouts at us in the things that we love to do. When we would just lose track of time, when we felt connected, we felt peaceful, we felt in flow, whatever it is for you. And so we're going to do a little exercise to help you connect with a moment in your life when you felt that you were just loving what you were doing, or felt a sense of aliveness. And it might be 10 years ago, And it might be 10 days ago, so it doesn't have to be when you were a little kid, but sometimes that helps us to connect with something. So I'd like everyone to close your eyes, and let's take another breath. We're going to inhale through the nose for 1, 2, and then exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do a few more of those on your own. Continue to relax into your chair, just let your body be heavy. Feel the support of the ground beneath you in the chair. And as you relax, see if you can bring to mind a memory or time in your life when you felt like you were really loving what it was you were doing. Or it could be a moment when you felt really connected to yourself or others. Some of you might have a few moments coming to mind. If that's the case, just pick whatever one pops out. And some of you, this might be tough. And that's okay too. You might have a tough time finding something. And so give yourself permission to not have to get this right. Keep slowing down, closing your eyes, and find a memory, a time in your life when you felt like you really were enjoying that time. And then once you've found it, I'd like you to imagine that you're living it again. So you go there and you experience almost as if it's happening right now. So see what you saw. Hear what you heard. Smell and taste, maybe anything that you could smell or taste. And most importantly, feel what that feeling was like for you. And then as you feel it, see if you can turn up the dial on that feeling. Let it grow. And then just for a few more moments, enjoy it. And then go ahead and open your eyes, maybe take another breath, come back. Raise your hand if you were able to connect with a memory or an experience. Great. Out of those who raised their hand, would anyone like to share what that experience was? Yeah.
I was 13 years old and I was in the back of a car on my way from the United States to the Dominican Republic.
What was it about that was meaningful or connecting to you?
I remember the song I was listening to in the car, the speed of the car, and the way the car seat felt.
I know.
Love it. What was the feeling? Emotionally?
Well, it was hot leather, and
Hot leather's not an emotion. But it is a good feeling.
it was a feeling of me reconnecting with my family.
Well, beautiful. So that feeling. Thank you for sharing. What's her name? Hansel? Thanks for sharing, Hansel. So what I heard from Hansel is something that's important to him is family, right? And having that connection to his family and getting a chance to go back, go see his family. And so like that energy of connection, right? That's something that's, whatever that experience was for you, that's something that we can listen to find. And so even though we went into the past for that experience, recognize that that feeling is available to you now. That's pretty cool, right? And we arrived at that feeling by slowing down and connecting with our body. So this is something that you can make as a practice anytime that you want to reconnect and figure out and remember, like, what's important to me? Oh yeah, family, or oh yeah, peace, connection, whatever it might be for you. Because remember, you can't know what you want, don't know how you feel. There you go. Students of the famous mythology professor Joseph Campbell would ask their teacher what they should do with their lives. And Campbell would respond with 3 words: follow your bliss. Another way to say that is follow your aliveness. Follow your greatness. Follow that feeling that you felt as a kid. And recognize it doesn't mean that you have to do that thing your entire life, right? Hansel's probably not going to be a professional hot leather backseat guy. Like, that's not really a job, but there's something in that was meaningful. And for me, in case you haven't guessed it, I'm not a professional baseball player. But the feeling that I felt playing imaginary baseball in my backyard has guided and directed my life to where I'm at right now. The first time I gave a talk like this was during a time in my life where I was feeling really desperate to figure out who I was and what I was meant to do. And after I gave that talk, I felt this sense of aliveness and connection. And I got home and I had an aha moment. I just started crying. Because I realized that the feeling after giving that talk was the same feeling I felt playing imaginary baseball as a 7-year-old. And I knew that that was a sign that I am on the right path. Even though it had nothing to do with playing baseball. Do you see what I'm getting at? Finding your greatness is not about recreating that experience that you thought of. It's about recognizing that that feeling is something that makes you come alive. And so whenever you feel that feeling again, in whatever it is that you're doing, listen to it, because that's your authentic self speaking to you. I followed that feeling into a lot of different sports. I love sports. I thought I was going to be a professional baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, golf, you name it. No one told me I couldn't do that. But as we get old, we're trained to fit in. And there's something that happens, something significant that happens at around 3rd or 4th grade. Does anyone know what it is? We start caring about what other people think of us. Let's do a little experiment in here. I'd like everyone to close your eyes and raise your hand if you care about what other people think of you. All right, thanks for being honest. Thanks for being honest. And I'll ask one more question. Raise your hand if there's someone in your life who you feel like you need to prove yourself to. They're like, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So if you didn't answer the first one, and there's someone in your life you feel like you need to prove yourself to, that's caring what someone else's think. And what's ironic is some of you, I'm not going to call you out, but some of you didn't raise your hand because you didn't want to be perceived that you care about what other people think, which means you actually care about what other people think. And so the issue is that when we care about what other people think, we might start putting their opinions above our feelings. And the moment we do that, we disconnect from our authentic self. Because when we care too much about what other people think, we are motivated by what is external instead of what is inside of us. And the danger is that the more we disconnect from what is inside of us, the harder it is to get back to our authentic self, and the easier it is to live other people's expectations of how our life should be. Most people don't get back to their authentic self. And I don't want that to happen to you. So how do you know that you're caring too much about what other people think? You might start asking these questions consciously or subconsciously. What gets me approval? What gets me acceptance? And how can I function in a way that others don't criticize me? And when you start living into these questions, what happens is you start molding your authentic self into what I call a safe self. A self that fits in. A self that doesn't really take risks. And instead of being one of a kind, you become one of many. And guess what? The world will make it easier if you sit in your chair and follow the rules. Because if you're different, you might end up suffering from tall poppy syndrome. Has anyone heard that term before? Tall poppy syndrome is a phrase that's popular in Australia. And it's characterized by when someone stands out, when they become outstanding, others criticize and tear them back down. And it comes from a story of a Roman king, King Lucius Tarquinius. He was a tyrannical king who loved power. And King Lucius found out that his son was gaining power within the kingdom, and this angered the king. And so the messenger asked the king what he was going to do. And without saying a word, King Lucius went into his poppy garden, which is filled with different colors and sizes and shapes. It was beautiful. And he took his sword, and he went out, and he cut down all the poppies so that they're the same exact height, symbolizing what he was going to do to his son. Because even having one person that was growing, he felt was a threat to his power. When you live authentically, other people are going to want to cut you down. Bullies are going to bully. Haters are going to hate. And it might even be people that you wouldn't expect. It might be your friends. It might be your family. And in that case, it's not that they're trying to hurt you. Often they just want to keep you safe. Because think about it, it's a lot safer to be like all the other poppies. You're protected from the wind, right? You have the shade so the sun doesn't beat down on you. The rain hits the poppies at the same time. It's safer. But within that safety, not one flower blossoms into its fullest potential. You don't blossom into your fullest potential. No one was teaching me how to be authentic. So I got to middle school, I hated middle school, it was so awkward, so I asked, how can I function in a way that others don't criticize me? And I did my best to fit in. I got to high school. I remember two major things that happened my freshman year of high school. The first was on the very first day of school. It's a rainy day out. I'm wearing a white t-shirt. We got to go outside for lunch at my school. And while I'm outside, I brushed up against a bush, and I got my back all wet. But I never checked to see if there was anything on my back. Mistake. I get back from lunch to my next period, which is choir. Singing is another thing that when I do it, it feels like I'm connected to my authentic self. And so I'm in the front row, and we're singing our scales. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa. You know when you hear someone laughing, and you just know they're laughing at you? And then sure enough, hey freshman, looks like someone pissed on you. And at first I'm confused. I'm like, am I getting made fun of in choir? I'm like, I'm not getting made fun of for being in choir, I'm getting made fun of by another choir kid. I thought this was gonna be a safe space. So what that laughter did was it reinforced a social anxiety that had been building. That people were always judging me, and often judging me negatively. So I asked, how can I function in a way that others don't criticize me? And I made sure to always make sure how I looked, and always my hair was a certain way, and made sure that I did not let any room for someone to laugh at me again. And that anxiety took me throughout my days. There was one place in my life where I didn't feel this anxiety, and I was in sports. I told you about all those sports that I love to play. There was one that I was really good at. Basketball. That might not be the sport you thought I was going to say. Based on how I look, choir? Yeah, Lou. Basketball? I don't know. But seriously, I could shoot, I could dribble, I could play. It's our freshman year, first game, Friday night, home game, court is packed. We're playing a tough team. And I'm lighting it up. I have 33 points, hitting every shot I take. Gets to the end of the game. We're down by 2.6 seconds on the clock. I get the ball out of backcourt. I get it, I take 2 dribbles. 1, 2, throw the ball up, buzzer goes, bang. What do you think happens? It goes in. It goes in, and the crowd rushes the court. They throw me up. It's pandemonium. It's amazing. It's the greatest moment of my life up until that point. And after that, for the next couple of weeks, I felt good. I had the validation of other people. Right? I had the confidence of hitting that shot. And eventually that feeling faded. And the anxiety came back. And so these two experiences, they represent the battle that was waging inside of me at the time. On one hand, I have the confidence and the validation of basketball. And on the other hand, I have the anxiety and the insecurity and that kid laughing at me. And I wish I could tell you that confident voice was louder, but it wasn't. The anxious and insecure voice was. Until freshman year, I'm at a party. And I drink a beer. And after I drink that beer, the anxiety, it kind of started to relax, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And then I have a second beer, and the confident voice got louder, and I was like, whoa, I like this. And then I had a third, fourth, and fifth beer, and there was like no voices, and I was like, whoa, I love this. I love that feeling so much that I started to drink every weekend. Because here's the thing, basketball is only 3 months long, and I can't, know if I'm gonna hit a game-winning shot every week. I don't even have a game every week. But I realized that I could find myself some alcohol. Now, before I go further, I could see some eyes rolling. This is not turning into a don't drink alcohol assembly. Because I'd be doing a pretty bad job telling you how great I felt. But that's not meaning I'm telling you to drink. You are all young adults, and you can make your own choices. The reason I'm here is because I want you to learn how to connect with what's authentic, so you can make choices from there. Alcohol, that's just part of my story. Everyone in here, we all have ways of dealing with feelings that are uncomfortable to feel. For some, it's Netflix. For others, it's TikTok. For some, it's food. Video games. Really, anything on this screen can be a distraction, can be an addiction. And just a quick aside, because I know there's some people in here that want to be influencers, YouTubers, creators, and I fully support that because I do all of those things. Here's a very important distinction. You can bring your authentic self to the screen, but you can't find your authentic self through the screen. We get that? You can bring what's in here to this, but how are you going to find what's in here through this? Doesn't make sense. So coming back, we might not even realize that food, even good things like exercise or TikTok or video games, we might not realize that they are distracting us from our feelings. And the reason that they can be bad is that they serve as another layer of armor to keep us safe, and they disconnect us from our authentic self. And the problem that I found with alcohol is that it not only quieted the anxiety, but it also quieted the confidence. And the more that I drank, the less I cared about basketball. I started smoking cigarettes, I got slower, I fit in, I was cool, but I looked in the mirror, I couldn't see the full. And then a year later, I'm 16 years old, and I'm at a friend's house, and I'm drinking a pint of vodka to myself. Now, just to be clear, a pint is too much vodka. And I'm the only one drinking it. None of my friends are drinking. So I'm about 3/4 of the way done, and my friend's parents come home, and they catch us. Well, they catch me, but they assume that it's us because a pint is too much vodka. And so they don't believe me. They call all of our friends' parents to come to this house. And so I'm there, I'm not gonna rat out my friends. So there I am, I'm trying to persuade to my friends' parents that it was just me drinking. So you can imagine the embarrassment that my parents felt. So they take me home, I get home, I throw up in the sink, and I pass out. The next morning, my dad walks into my room, he sits on the edge of the bed, he looks me in the eye, and says,
Mike?
Battery?
It might be battery.
Are they? I don't either.
Ready? He looks me in the eye, and he says, son, my grandfather was an alcoholic. My father was an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic. And now you are an alcoholic. I'm 16 years old. What do you say to that? Right? Some of you are 16 in this room. See, while my dad had good intentions, what he didn't realize was in that moment, he gave me an identity. And the thing about identities is that when we believe we are something, we act as that identity would. He told me I was an alcoholic. And I said, well, if that's who I am, then let's party. If I had some more awareness at the time, I might not have taken that identity on. I might have kept cultivating my identity as an athlete, as a singer, as a kind person.
Those things were still inside of me, but I didn't connect with them. Learning how to be authentic means understanding the words that you use to label yourself. And so what are those words? If you were to say, I am blank, what is those words you fill in that blank? See, you might think that your identity is locked in place, but it's not. Your humanness is, your, dare I say, soul is, but your identity changes. I'm no longer a high school student. That will be something that changes for you pretty soon. And not only does it change, but you can actively change it. Which is why I want you to be vigilant when someone is trying to give you an identity. When they say, you are blank, you are too sensitive, you are not good enough, you are a loser. Even nice things can keep us small. You always put other people's needs first. See, the thing about identity or a label is that they put us in a box. And we are so much greater than any box that someone can put us in. So when someone tries to give you an identity, say, do I want to take this on? Because it's only true if you believe it. And what's ironic is we easily believe the bad identities, but when someone says something positive, we often deflect it. Like if I were to say to you, you are such a creative person. You see the world in such a unique way. You are a loyal friend. See, that might actually feel uncomfortable. You'd be like, no, I'm not. Think about a time someone complimented you and you deflected it. Confucius famously said, those who think they can and those who think they can't are both usually right. And that's the power that we possess to define ourselves. And when you start to define yourself based on what is internal, based on what is authentic, I promise you, you will be unstoppable. There's an identity to take on. I'd like everyone, let's try this. Everyone stand up. All right. I know you guys got comfy. I get it. It's Friday morning, you gotta move things up. So, we're gonna practice taking on the identity of unstoppable. And so to do this, I want first to start, I want you to make the strongest pose that you can make. So feel your feet in the ground. Maybe you reach your arms up. I want you to feel like strong in your body. Maybe you flex your muscles, whatever it might be. And then, ready? On 3, 2, 1, I want to hear you own your identity of I'm unstoppable. So you're going to say, after I 3, 2, 1, say I'm unstoppable. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I don't know about that. I don't know. Let's see if we can do this again. This time, I want you to imagine that you say this from the center of your chest. So bring your awareness, your attention into the center of your chest. Feel your feet on the ground. Speak this from the center of your heart. And I want all of Passaic to hear this. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, we're getting there. Let's try this one more time. This time, feel it at your core. Feel it at the center of your body. Feel your strength. I want your whole body to speak this. I want all of New Jersey to hear this. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yes, you are. Now sit in your chair and follow the rules. The poem. You guys remember the poem? Yeah, good job. Now please, I invite you to sit down. Thank you. But I wasn't unstoppable. I was an alcoholic. And I kept drinking hard and heavy for the next 10 years. And the things that I still love to do, I did them, but it didn't really matter if I got those feelings from them, because remember, the alcohol, it numbed the anxiety, but it also numbed the confidence. And you might ask, how did you stop drinking? And it's very simple. Mindfulness and meditation. Meditation led me to my authentic self, or back to my authentic self. And once I found that, alcohol, it didn't make sense. The reason why I'm here today is because if I could go back to my 15-year-old self, I would tell him everything that I'm telling you right now. It took me another 10 years to listen to my whisper, and I don't want it to take that long for you. I want you to start living from your authentic self. I don't want you to have to find your way back to it. And I get this is all easier said than done, which is why I want to do a couple more tools that you can use on your own to build this relationship, because we all need help connecting to our authentic self. These techniques can be a catalyst to clear stress and anxiety and connect with what's true. We already learned 3 tools. The first one was just slowing down, connecting with what's happening in our bodies. Can we just take a moment? Can we feel what's happening. Super simple. The next tool is going into a memory, going into a time in our life when we felt connected and letting that feeling grow within us. The third tool was what we just did, letting ourselves take up space, letting ourselves let out some noise. Like that actually, you can feel a shift in your state. As much as you're owning that identity, you're also physiologically moving energy in your body. The next thing we're gonna do is gonna be a little weird and chaotic. Are you guys up for trying something weird with me? Okay. All right. It's super simple. It's really not that weird. It's super simple because we're just going to be breathing in and out through our mouths. But in that process of all of us breathing at the same time, it's going to feel a little crazy in here. You're like, what's going on? So I really want to encourage you to stay with this. I promise you, if you stay with this, you're going to feel something. Breathwork is the fastest way to change your state, to clear anxiety, to clear stress. And so it's very important that we get the way that we're doing this down. Again, it's super simple. I'm going to model it, I'm going to speak about it, we're going to practice it together, and then we're going to all go into it. So it's super simple. It's going to look like this. And look at my belly, because this is where we're breathing into. So it's going to be like this. The image I want you to think about is blowing up a balloon, deflating the balloon. Blowing up a balloon, letting the air out. So what we're doing, we're not forcing the air out, we're just letting it out. So it's not a forceful exhale, it's just a strong inhale, letting it out. And that's all it is, round and round. We're gonna do about 30 rounds of that. So, very important. Well, let's just all practice that for a moment. And to practice it, bring a hand over your belly, and it's just in and out through the mouth. Hand over your belly, because we want to feel like we're breathing into our bellies. And so, ready? Inhale. Exhale. Fill up the balloon. Deflate the balloon. Fill it up. Deflate. Fill it up. Let it go. All right. Does everyone know the technique? Clear. Okay, as we're breathing, I'm gonna have you hold the breath at one point. And you're gonna be able to hold your breath longer than normal. It's gonna be an interesting experience. And so I'm gonna cue this whole time. Another thing, if any of this feels really uncomfortable, like you might feel some things, might feel hot or cold, but if you start feeling lightheaded, if you start feeling like this is too much, please listen to your body and you don't have to do it. But for those of you that really want to give this a shot, please, I encourage you to try it and to not look at other people. Stay in your own experience. And to do that, I'd like you to close your eyes and stay in your own experience as we breathe together. All right, you know what to do. Like I said, stay with it. You're going to be breathing deeply in through your mouth, into your belly. We're going to do 30 rounds, and I'm going to do a breath hold with you. So ready? We're going to go 3, 2, 1, let's breathe. Keep the eyes closed, stay with it, filling up the balloon, letting it go, finding your own rhythm, stay breathing. And as you breathe, notice if there's any stress or anxiety you feel, and use your breath almost like you're just taking it like a broom and you're sweeping it out. Keep breathing. 10 more. All you have, full breaths, keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to take an inhale together and then hold the breath. Hold the breath at the top. Close your eyes and see and feel the ways that you've been hard on yourself. See if you can keep your breath held for just a little bit. And at any moment, you can let the breath exhale. And just take a moment to pause. We're going to do one more round. So just notice the effects of that small round. Stay in your body, keep your eyes closed. And we're going to use this next round. Any of those negative things that you say or the ways that you're kind of speaking to yourself, use your breath to imagine you're clearing out that negativity. And we're going to begin again for the second and last round, so give it all you got. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and breathe. Use your breath, clear out that negative voice, clear out that place you've been hard on yourself. 10 more, all you have, keep breathing, fill up the balloon, let the balloon go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take an inhale. Hold the breath at the top. Hold the breath. Connect with your heart. And feel and see the person that you want to be in the world. And whenever you want to exhale, you can exhale. Maybe you have a sigh. And then keep your eyes closed. We're done with those intensive breathing, so let the breath slow down. But stay with your eyes closed. We're going to go right into our last tool. We're going to go right into it. And as you slow down and just notice the effects of the breathing, start to connect with the center of your chest. And imagine that there's a light at the center of your chest that's growing brighter and brighter with each breath you take. And as you connect here into your heart, as you breathe, start to feel your kindness, your compassion, the love you have. And with each breath, imagine that growing brighter and brighter inside of your heart, inside of your chest. Continuing to slow down and relax. Feel that energy in your chest. And then I want you to bring your awareness from your chest down into your core, right? Your gut, your solar plexus. This is the center of your power, of your strength, of your resourcefulness. And feel your power. Maybe even press your feet into the ground a little bit. Feel your strength inside. And feel like there's a light now at the center of your core. And with each breath, it's growing brighter and brighter. And then what I like you to do is to connect your gut to your heart. So almost like it's like a pinball of light that's going up and down through from your heart to your gut, from your gut to your heart. Feel like that energy is moving up and down. This is where your kindness is connected to your power, your love is connected to your strength. So feel those two working together. Feel that in your body. Right here, this is your gateway point into your authentic self. I can't tell you what your authentic self is. You have to find it for yourself. And as you connect with your heart and your gut, this is how we slow down and start to learn deeper into what's true for us. And this is a great place to come to when you need to make a decision, when you're confused, when you're scared. and you want to get some clarity, to slow down, to listen to your heart, your gut, and ask the question here. So maybe there's something in your life you want to ask yourself. You can do that silently to yourself right now. What should I do? Who should I be? See what comes up. And maybe you give this place a name for yourself. Something that's easy to remember, to connect with your heart, to gut, to start building that relationship. We're going to take one last breath together. Let it go. Go ahead and come back and open your eyes. One of my favorite quotes is by a philosopher named Friedrich Nietzsche, and the quote is, "Those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who couldn't hear the music." You all have your own music that you're listening to, and other people aren't going to get it. They might think you're crazy. Good. That means that it is a sign that it actually is your path. When you feel that feeling you felt as a kid again, and whatever it is you do, remember to follow it. That's your authentic self speaking to you. When you feel like confused, you need to slow down, you need to make a decision. Do some breaths. Clear out some of the stress that maybe you're carrying. Clear out that from your body, and then connect with your heart, connect with your gut. Ask and make a decision from there. You all were so amazing today. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. We're pretty much at time. I'm open to hearing questions, or if you want to come up and speak to me, if you guys want to stay connected on YouTube, TikTok, Lou Redmond, Louredmond. I share things like this all the time. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you all so much. Thanks. Have a great SCL.